Hello everyone, I welcome you once again to another interesting topic related to private international law, which we all will be studying in currently 9th semester of BA LLB. So today we'll be studying another new topic known as the connecting factors of PIL. So in the last video lecture, we have discussed about the different principles of the private international law, and interestingly, what are the problems that currently the world is facing due to the factors such as domicile and renvoi. So here we will today start with the connecting factors of the private international law. So now by and large this lesson will connect up, so to speak, very much with every other topic in this particular subject. Fundamentally, connecting factors are concerned with actually subjugating a person with some form of legal system for any certain legal purposes. The reason behind this, you might have learned that everyone is under the law, or they have to abide by law, and therefore in order to be affected by that law, one must be connected by some form of law. So fundamentally concerned with connecting a person with some legal system for the legal purpose. So in this case, globally, this is either by establishing nationality or domicile. So we must say that we all know what is nationality is. Basically, nationality depends upon where you are presently situated or where you are. So to make you clear that there is a huge difference between nationality and citizenship. So nationality is nothing to do with citizenship. So to give an example, that it will differ, for example, in European jurisdiction, nationality plays much more having of a role than that of a common law country for that of UK. So our focus will be that of domiciles and its principles. So you must prove your new domicile. So what is domicile? Domicile basically a subject that connects a person with the law of a country. And you must have to prove your new domicile. One of the precedent types of domicile which all of us are entitled to is known as the domicile of origin. So basically we come here, we have the principles of domicile. And what does principle says? Number one, that no person can be without a domicile. So there is no any person in this world without a domicile. Next, no person can have more than one domicile, because a person is presumed to be staying at one place at a time. So there is not more than one domicile available to a person. An existing domicile is presumed to continue until new domicile is proven, and the proof have to be proven by that person itself. So we have the three types of domicile. So starting first, we have the domicile of origin. So everyone acquires, so it is a basic principle that everyone has a domicile of its own when they acquire its birth. So if a child is illegitimate, then he gets the domicile of father, and if he is not legitimate, then he gets the domicile of a mother. Now the domicile can be changed only by adoption. So if an adopted parent adopts some child, then he will be the domicile of that person. Now where a person is born out of an orphanage and who doesn't have any father and mother, so by default he will get the domicile of such place where he or she was found. So you will be by default have a domicile of origin. Next we have the domicile of choice. So every independent person can acquire a domicile of choice by combination of resident and intention. So here the intention must be proved. Until and unless the intention is proved, there will be no domicile of choice. Next we have the domicile of dependency. Now there are three types of dependency. One of that of a married woman, next children, and third mentally disordered. So the first one is actually defunct nowadays, otherwise we'll have a lot of problems. Next, as I said, of a children, so if you are born of a legitimate children, you will have the domicile of father, and if you are not illegitimate, you will have a domicile of mother. And mentally disordered children will have the domicile of the person to whom he or she is dependent. So there are two primary prerequisites in order for an individual to establish that he has chosen a domicile that is his particular domicile. That is, number one, residence. So for residence, physical presence of an inhabitant is required. It does not need to be for a long duration, and an immigrant can acquire immediately if they intend to settle. So these are the prerequisites of a residence. Next we talk about intention. So intention, there must be an intention to reside permanently or indefinitely. Now if a person intends to live on fulfillment of contingency, it will depend on that contingency. So but a person intends to live on a fulfillment of some contingency, such as fulfillment of some employment contract, that might negate the intention of that indefinite or permanent residency in that particular domicile or location. So few case laws is prevalent, and you might have noticed in previous classes PL where we use case laws, they are connected heavily with itself, so you don't necessarily have abundance of case laws, but yes, we are connected with some of the case laws. So the person intends to live on fulfillment of contingency, it will depend on the contingency. So first we have the case of Ross versus Ross. So it is given that person claim must be fortified and carried into the effect by conduct and action consistent with the expression made. So in essence, what the law looks at is not what the person says, but what the person does, but the conduct infer. In the next case, in Udni versus Udni, a residence freely taken without external necessity, such as duties of office, demands of creditors, illness, etc. So is that to show the case of intention is essence? What Udni actually outlining is the fact that if something is foreseen or are known to be completing a particular contingency within a period of time, you cannot show that you have taken the residency freely in any measure. So in the third case, in Devon versus Devon, every conduct of a person matters in determining if the intention is prevalent. So it means that if someone has an intention to stay over a particular place for an unlimited period of time, then he gets the domicile of that place. Otherwise, he has to prove his intention to get such domicile. Now, domicile doesn't necessarily limit itself. So basically we have three types of domicile. Number one, of that of a married woman. So this type of domicile is now actually defunct, considering the perplex situation that occurred in Ogden versus Ogden. Next, we have mentally disordered person, domicile for mentally disordered person. Domicile, the domicile of person before he or she becomes mentally disordered. Now, if he or she is mentally disordered from birth, then he or she will get the domicile of the person dependent. Now, we have already gone through the legitimate and illegitimate children's domicile. So, legitimate child will have the domicile of the father, and illegitimate child will have the domicile of the mother. And now, if any children is adopted, then he or she will get the domicile of the adopted parents. So, domicile does not necessarily limit itself to their three situations or aspects. There are by and large many other scenarios in which we may have to encounter during an examination situation. So here we come of prisoners. So prisoners actually retains their original domicile. Next, we have person liable to deportation. Deportation order alone is equals to insufficient. They will lose it only when deported. So this has been taken in the case of Kerr versus Kerr. The third, we have the employees. If a person goes to a country merely for work, will not get domicile of a choice. So this case was applicable in the case of Attorney General versus Rao, about a Chief Justice who was assigned to get work in Sri Lanka, which was formerly known as Ceylon. So in that case, a person, if he has a contractual work for a mere amount of time, he doesn't get the domicile of that particular country. So that was a succinct overview of connecting factors, or a fundamental or essential topic in relation to conflicts of law. Without connecting factor, we are unable to make progress or understand what type of laws and jurisdictions are applicable. So if we do not understand the connecting factors, so there will be a lot of problems and chaos in the court, and people will have some trouble to find law and justice. So they will have a great difficulty. For this reason, this connecting factor is very important. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. We'll meet into the next lecture with different new things. Till then, stay safe. Have a good day.